Hey Blue Table fans, James and Brett on the other side of the camera here. We're gonna talk about a little bit of Operation Squad World War II. This is a game that you've already gotten a glimpse of. We actually caught it from Adepticon, fell in love with the models from Bolt Action, and we've got a few here just to kind of show off. These are part of the Waffen SS box set. Box set actually comes with 20 models.
Nice.
Those are all, I painted those myself, put them together. They're really easy models to work with. They're all metal, so, you know, not for the faint of heart, but they have what they call a head swap system, I think is what it is. But basically, all of the heads are interchangeable, so you can kind of put whatever you want on it.
But it's not like that on every box set?
Yeah.
Because I got the American 101st Airborne Division, and they didn't have the swappable heads, but here's my guys painted up. But again, they were all metal. And painted up really nice.
Alright, so what we'd like to do is get started with some basic things in this game, just kind of give you an introduction to it. We're not going to really do a full bat rep just yet, just kind of get you a feel for how the game really works. Alright, so the main rulebook, which is this is all you need to play this game, other than the miniatures, obviously.
Which is awesome, because that rulebook is not very thick.
No. The rules themselves are only about 10 or so pages. Most of the stuff in here, the back, let's say 14 pages or so, 10 to 12 at least, are army lists. So you have different lists here. American, you can go run with an infantry squad, ranger squad, the Screaming Eagles, which Brett has. Then we go over to the British. You got the Royal Fusiliers, the rifle squad there, the Red Devils, paratrooper squad, commando squad for the Brits. Russians, you can run a rifle squad, assault squad, the Guards rifle. Then we go into the German with the Grenadier Army, or the Grenadier squad, the Fallschirmjäger, which I know I screwed that up, the Panzer Grenadier squad, and then we've got some tokens and stuff. So the lists are really simple. Because it is a squad-based game, it is a skirmish size. Obviously we showed you our models. That's a 500-point list. That's a traditional game out of this rule book. That's all you need to play. All of the starter boxes come with basically every option that you really can take for that particular army entry. So if you buy the box, you're good to go and be able to mix and match and kind of get a feel for all the different options and weapons that the army has to offer.
Awesome. So why don't you take us through the list that you chose today and how you got up to 500 points.
Okay, so I started off with the Fallschirmjäger, which squad value is 395 points, and it comes with my sergeant, a corporal, one Fallschirmjäger with a MG34 light machine gun, and 8 guys with Kar 98K rifles. Okay, then what I did is I actually upgraded the entire unit to veteran, which is going to allow me some re-rolls later in the game, by removing a single model, so that brought me back down to 7 here. I didn't take the sniper. I did go down here, replaced my Kar 98 on 2 models actually, sorry, with the STG-44 assault rifle for 35 points each. So that bumped me up 70 points there. I also took an assistant for my MG34, the light machine gun, which was 10 points. I also added binoculars down here for 10 points to get me up there. Oh, and then I also added the medic for 15. Yeah, awesome. Added the medic. So that gave me my 500 points, and it's going to allow us to show you some different rules.
All right, now I'm going to show you how I set up my list. And I went with the Screaming Eagles, 101st Airborne. And so my squad base value is 355 points, and comes with a sergeant, corporal, 7 paratroopers with the M1 Garand. So what I ended up doing was I took one of my paratroopers and gave traded in his rifle for an M2 mortar, and then I upgraded another guy to an assistant, and then I purchased a sniper, and as a free action, my leaders can replace their M1 semi-automatic carbines with the M1 Thompsons. So I actually did that for my sergeant, but not for the corporal. And then I don't think I did anything else. I think that got me up to my 500 points.
Awesome.
And so yeah. now we'll get some, show you guys how the rules work and have some fun.
Now also, the majority of these lists are available on their website. I had a little bit of trouble finding most of them online, but you can find free PDF downloads of the Army lists. And some of them might have actually changed from the rulebook. There's minor costs here or there. One example is the Waffen SS box set. The medic actually became cheaper, if I remember right. So there's that too to keep in mind.
All right, awesome. And also, just to let everybody know that we are still learning the rules. So if there's anybody out there who has played the game more than us and knows the rules better than us, please leave us a comment and let us know on anything that we need to change or that we goofed up on, and we'd love to hear that. So anyways.
Yes.
Here we go.
Actually, these rules were written in Italian and originally translated, so there are a couple of weird little things that we just kind of tried to read between the lines and figure out for ourselves. So if we did get it wrong, please help us.
All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the turn sequence of the game. And this is the turn sequence, and at first glance it may look daunting, but it's actually really, really easy and really intuitive. So basically, here we go. James, why don't you give us a little rundown on the turn sequence?
All right. The very beginning of the turn, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take 2d6.
Okay.
You and your opponent are going to roll those 2d6. In my case, I rolled a 9, and add the highest tactical value that you have in your list. In my case...
So let's talk about tactical value real fast.
Okay.
Every unit has a tactical value. And on the list here, it is actually listed under VT. So for example, my sergeant has a tactical value of 5. The corporal has a 5, and all my rest of my paratroopers have 4. If we look over at James's list...
Fallschirmjäger.
Okay.
I've got 5, 5, 4, and 4.
So it's pretty much the same.
So what I would do for an initiative, in this case, I would have a total of 14. So Brett would then roll.
An initiative being who gets to start the turn sequence.
Correct.
So my roll was not very good.
Right.
So I've got 5 there, and I would add my highest VT, which is 5, so my total is 10.
Right, so effectively I have the initiative, meaning that I would get to choose what I'm going to do first. The next thing that we're going to do, let's say these models are deployed, I would pick a model.
Okay. Sorry, just keep going.
No, you're fine.
I'm just gonna grab my models here real fast.
I would pick a model.
Okay.
And I would say, I would declare my action. This guy is going to move over here, for example. Then it would fall on my opponent to declare his first reaction.
So then my reaction is gonna be to shoot at the guy that's moving, for example.
Then it would go to my second figure here, and I would say I'm going to shoot at the guy that's shooting at him.
Okay. This guy here, he is going to run back over this way.
Okay. And then this guy here is going to move over here as well. He's going to run over here.
Okay. And then this guy is also going to shoot at the first running guy.
Okay, so even though we've got more than 3 guys, you only declare actions for 3 and reactions for 3 figures. Then you roll 2 dice for each model.
Okay.
We'll just roll this up here. And what I've gotten into the habit of doing is rolling the dice and then adding whatever their tactical value happens to be as a third dice for simplicity's sake.
All right, so why don't you list off your results there?
Okay, so in this case here, I'm running at 13 for my sergeant. This one, he's at 15 for my corporal, and then just my regular guy over here, he's only running at 12.
Okay, so we got 12, 13, and 15.
Right.
So for my guys are all regular paratroopers, so they all have a tactical value of 4, so I'll add 4 to all of their rolls. And basically what this does is shows who's going to activate first in this turn.
Right, this is order of operations. Now, what's important is whoever won the initiative, in the case of a tie, gets to do their action first. And the reason why that's important, let's say my sergeant over here, let's say there was a building here, for example. We use that as our building. And let's say he got the initiative first, move it over here, so he was able to move out of the way before he was able to get his shot off, basically denying him his action. Alternatively, it can work the other way around, where he could steal the initiative effectively, roll better than me, and get to shoot him before he gets to run off and try to hide.
So, and there's actually times when you either want a higher tactical value or a higher initiative roll, because you want your guys to move first, or sometimes there's times when you want a lower one. You want them to move first.
Exactly.
And this is the part that I think makes the game really fun and exciting, because it adds that element of you don't know what's going to quite happen, because you may have this elaborate plan of attack set up in your mind. You're like, oh, these guys are going to move and destroy these guys, and the dice could just throw it all off by making his guys move first.
Exactly.
So a lot of fun. So that's the turn sequence. We'd activate all the guys in their order.
Now, the way a turn works is every single model has to have some action, has to receive some action, even if it's just to hide. They have to do something. If you run out of models before your opponent does, you would effectively pass the rest of your turn, so your opponent would be able to do theirs. Then once all of these all of your models and all your opponent's models have had their action, then what you're going to do, that's the end of the first turn. Second turn, you're going to roll for initiative again.
Whoever goes first gets to activate first.
Right.
So, all right. So we are going to set up a little demonstration here on how this works, and we'll run you through a full turn sequence and show you some things like shooting and movement. All right, so we're going to run through a turn real fast, and we're going to show you a few different things like movement, shooting, and how cover works in the game. So we have gone up and set up our guys. They've got 3 guys over here for James on our board, and then right over here we have 3 guys for me. And the dice next to them corresponds to their turn order. We went ahead and rolled and determined what their order is going to be.
Right.
And so James here has the number 1, so that guy's going to move first.
Right.
So James, what's his declared action going to be?
Okay, so his declared action, he's going to run up to here.
All right, so normal movement, movement speed is 15 centimeters. Correct. Everything in the game is done in centimeters.
Yeah, this game uses centimeters, so for those not familiar, that's roughly 6 inches.
Yeah, and in this case, he is running him. So he's going to run a total of 20 centimeters.
Yeah.
However, he is running through a field, and fields have penalties on movement.
Right. It's actually going to subtract 1d6 from my movement. So in this case, since we already know he's going first, I'm going to roll that. So in this case, he's actually only going to be able to move 18 inches.
Centimeters.
I mean 18 centimeters. Yeah. Thank you. 18 centimeters, putting him there.
All right. So now if you run your character, that is the only action you can take during that movement, during that turn. So my guy over here has the number 2 action. So his declared action is going to be to move up through this area terrain. This is going to be considered a wooded area. It is area terrain, so he will also have a penalty to his movement, but he's just doing a normal walking movement.
Right, so he's got 15 centimeters as his standard.
So minus 1d6, which happens to be 3, so he's only going to be moving 12 centimeters. Which is right there. So now, he is in the wooded area, which is going to eventually grant him a cover bonus.
Right, if he's shot at.
Yeah. So that guy has activated, and this guy has a 3rd activation here. So now he's going to go. He's actually going to do what's called a move and shoot action. And he is aiming at this guy here. So he's going to move up, and he as well is going to be moving through the area terrain just barely, so he will have to roll his d6, and he's also minusing 3. So let's see, let's put him at the edge.
Actually,
okay, well he doesn't have to move his full, so I'm just going to move him to the edge. So he still gets that tiny bit of cover.
Yep.
And now he's going to shoot at him. So it's my turn to shoot. So what we have here, I know this guy's a regular paratrooper, and he's armed with the M1 Garand. So we're going to go, so we're going to come to our weapons table here, and it has all the information we need for our weapons. Find the M1 Garand, which is right here, and it have different modifiers for depending on the range. So standard shot is 3d6. Every shot always starts at 3d6, and you have different modifiers that will add dice or subtract dice. So the first thing I need to do is measure my range. So you measure from base to base, and I am at about 28 centimeters.
Yep.
Okay. So I come back to my weapon table, and it's under 40 centimeters. So I come down to the weapon, I get to add 1d6.
Awesome.
So right now I am at 4d6. Now, he has some cover.
Yep, I'm in cover.
So he's hiding behind this wall, and a linear obstacle like this, you come over to this fancy terrain table we have in the rulebook.
Yep.
And by the way, this comes in the rulebook, and it's meant to be torn out so you can keep it separate, which is nice. Linear obstacle. This is going to be a wall. So if you look over here, cover is 2d6. So what that means is I'm going to roll my 4d6, and then James is going to get to roll 2d6 against my 4d6.
Subtracting my number from his number.
From my total.
Telling us what is going to happen. So let's go ahead and do that first.
Okay. Let's go and roll those. So I'm going to roll my 4d6. And then what we do is you get this, and then you add the tactical value of the figure, which happens to be 4, to this amount. So I've got 6, 4, that's 10, plus another 4 for my tactical value, and 5. So I'm looking at a total of 19.
Okay. Me, I don't add my tactical value. All I'm doing is adding my cover. So I've got a whopping 2.
All right.
So it's a difference of 17.
So 17. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the damage table right here. So we'll see if the total is less than or equal to 10, then the shot misses and there's no damage done. If the total is 11, 12, or 13, then the target model is pinned, which means they go to ground. If the total is 14 or 15, then the target model is wounded. Each model gets a wound, they get wounded again, they die. If the total is 16 or more, then the target model is killed and is removed from the game. So I got a 17, which was my roll minus his roll.
Yep.
So that figure is dead.
Ugh.
He is gone. He's removed from the game. Now, we move on to the next activation. Activation number 4.
So the fourth activation is my guy over here, and he's got the nice Car 98. So what he's going to do, he's actually going to move up here and shoot back as well. So in this case, he's just going to do the move and shoot, which would be 15 centimeters, but he's moving through the terrain, so he's minus 1d6. So he's actually moving only 13. So he's going to come up here. We're actually going to swing him out just a little bit to get a little bit better shot.
All right, so he's aiming at this. Sorry, which guy are you aiming at?
The guy here that took out his mummy.
He needs some revenge.
Exactly.
All right, so this is going to bring up a really interesting thing about this game, and that is cover is stackable.
Cover stacks.
So what we have here is we have this linear obstacle, the wall, blocking his line of fire to here, and he's also in area terrain, so he gets an additional cover for that.
Right, so he's getting 2d6 plus an additional d6 for that. So he's got a 3d6 save, essentially. Yes. Versus my Car 98, which we go back to our weapons table here. And the Car 98 here. Now this, I know I'm under the 40 centimeters. I'm getting 1d6 additional die there. So I'm going to also be rolling 4d6 this time, just like you did last time.
So, James, go ahead and see how your shot does.
Okay, so there's mine. He's at 4, so that would be 14
for his tactical
19 value. And 21.
Okay, total. So he rolled a 21. So now I get to roll my dice against his. Ooh.
It was the 2 and the 6.
Okay, and I did really extremely well there.
So 11.
Yep. I rolled 11 against his 22.
So a difference of 11, meaning that the model is pinned at that point.
So now I take my model, and essentially he has gone to ground. He is ducking his head behind bushes, trying to find cover because that shot just buzzed his helmet.
Right, now there's an interesting thing. The Car 98 only gets a single shot. The weapon that was fired on my other guy killed him in the first shot, so that was a moot point as well. If a model, in this case here...
sorry, I should point out that this guy did have 2 shots. His rifle does allow him 2 shots.
Right.
So had I not killed him the first shot, I've had potential to kill him the second shot.
Right. The pinning of the model doesn't actually take place until all shots have occurred. So if the weapon has 2 shots or 3 shots or 7 shots, all of the shots take place before the model is pinned to the ground. Because after his activation and after all of his shots are done, then he becomes pinned. So if I had another model that would activate next and tried to shoot at him, he would get an additional bonus because he's hidden, essentially.
All right, so next activation, this guy back here.
Next is this one over here. So what he's going to do is he's going to run up. Actually, no, he's going to come over this way. Just to show you a little bit extra, he's going to run over here and go up and over the wall.
Yes, so we'll show you how this works.
So in this case, his 20 centimeters, what he should be able to do is here. However, in our linear obstacle, in the obstacle chart, it actually shows you what each different types of terrain adjust movement for. So it's all on one table. It makes it really easy.
So here's the table, and we look at wall, and if we look over here under the movement modifier, it says minus 1d6.
Yep. So I would normally be able to move here at 20 centimeters. Minus 1d6 is 6. I'm not going to make it. So that puts me at 14, so I can't even make it over the wall.
So basically he ran tried to jump it and just...
And whiffed.
Yeah, bad. That's unfortunate.
He slipped on a banana peel.
So, my guy here, he was going to move up around here and also shoot at the guy that was here before, but that guy is dead now. And as far as I know, he loses his action. Or
well, no,
am I doing that wrong?
He wouldn't get his, you haven't declared an action for him yet.
Well, I would have at the beginning of the turn.
That's right. He would have declared an action.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get to move and shoot. He does get to move.
He does get to move, because, but the guy that he was going to shoot is dead, so he can't shoot at a dead... Oh, he could shoot at a dead person, but not going to do anything. So he's going to move into the area. So he's going to roll 1d6 to modify his movement. So at 2. So I am moving at 13 centimeters. And he's going to move right there behind that tree. All right. So that is effectively one turn. So he made his 3 activations, I made my 3 activations, and now we roll for initiative and start a new turn.
Well, no. If there's still models left over, after the first activation, it switches to the opponent to get the initiative.
Yeah.
So if I rolled off and won the initiative and there was a tie, the first 3 models that I activate, I would get priority. Okay. After that, after the first activation, it switches over to Brett for him to activate and get priority until everything switches back and forth until everything has been moved.
Yep.
So, but with my particular unit that I took, I get a reroll for that priority roll.
Because so you upgrade your guys to veteran status.
Yes.
So that means that during any priority roll or initiative roll, he can re-roll 1 dice.
Yep, roll one of the 2 dice. So in this case, I don't like that 1, I could re-roll it and get a 2.
Woo!
So
just increased your chances by 1.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So next up, we're going to do a couple of different weapon options and stuff, and show you how some different things work.
All right.
Welcome back to round 2, I guess. What we've done, we've just set up our guys into another scenario here. Kind of go over some of the different weapons, ranges, multiple shots, and that sort of thing. So for starters, the sergeant over here is armed with a Walther P38 pistol. Its traditional range is close range, up to 1d6. But you also notice it has this melee characteristic. That means it can actually be fired in melee as a melee weapon, and it has 2 shots.
But you'll notice under all the other ranges it says NE, basically saying that you cannot fire it beyond 20 centimeters.
Meters is I could shoot into this cover over here.
So he'd be able to reach my guys there.
Yep.
All right. So then the Car 98.
The Car 98.
Oh, and how many shots does the MP40 get?
The MP40 actually has 3 shots.
Nice. And the Walther has 2 shots.
2 shots for that. And the Car 98 is just a bolt action rifle, single shot, but it's got a much longer range. I can go out to 80 centimeters.
So to give you an idea how far 80 centimeters is from the guy, he can almost reach the edge of the board. That's pretty significant.
Yep.
And he's at plus 1d6 at that range, right?
Yep.
Or
yeah,
oh no,
at 80 centimeters, it's just straight
up
3d6. Yep. At
That's
60
awesome.
is 1d6, 40 is 1d6, and 20 centimeters or under, he's getting an additional 2d6.
That's awesome. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And so just to let people aware, when you're rolling multiple shots, like burst weapons like the MP40 or the pistol, you're rolling for every shot. It's not like you roll once and that counts for every shot. Yep. You're rolling for every shot, which could be significant.
As is your opponent rolling their defense
against every shot as well.
Against every shot.
Yes. All right, so what's next up?
There can be a lot of dice rolling, especially when you go to the next weapon here, which is my light machine gun. This particular model, the MG34, has 2d6 inside 20, 40 is plus 1d6, 60 is plus 1d6, 80 is plus 1d6, with 6 shots.
Nice.
Now, another thing you'll notice here, ammunition belt, this is something that we didn't talk about. Whenever you roll your dice, let's say that he's close range and he's going to get to roll 5 dice. If I roll just like that and get 3 of any one number, if I get triples, then the gun has effectively run out of ammo. For a normal gun, you simply reload it your next action. That's what they have to do before they can shoot again with that gun. But for the machine gun, he has what's called an ammunition belt. So that allows you to do what, Brett?
I'm not sure about that one, actually.
Okay, well, let's look it up.
Let's find out. Okay, so we come over to the book here, and we'll come under the characteristics page right here, because every guy and or weapon has characteristics, and we look at ammunition belt. It says weapons with this characteristic can stop firing and start again if another model performs an action within 20 centimeters of the last target. Use a dice to show how many shots you have left.
All right, so that's not going to help me any. But there's another guy there with him. I took, as part of my army list, what's called an assistant. The assistant allows me to, his action in essence is just to reload that gun. So when you're running these two, they're going to run together as the same unit. Essentially, they're going to run as a team. So you're going to move them together, and you're going to shoot him. And typically what we've done here is just assume that this guy is always doing a reload action, whether it needs it or not. Effectively, he's wasting his action. What he could do is take the gun that he has, a Kar 98, and fire as well as the machine gun. But in this case, my machine gun ran out of ammo, and I wouldn't be able to reload automatically and continue shooting the next turn. The problem with this is I've got 6 shots. My very first shot, I ran out of ammo. So the other 5 shots don't happen.
But your assistant can reload for his action, and that way the next turn you don't have to waste an action reloading. Exactly. But also, another thing with multiple shots is you can shoot at multiple enemies.
Yes.
Which is nice.
I can split up my 6 shots
so for example,
6 different targets.
I've got 3 guys waiting right over here within line of sight of him. He could effectively shoot all 3 guys 2 shots each. That could be pretty devastating.
Yeah, you can split it up any way you want. I could put 5 on one because I want him to die and 1 on another just in the hopes that he dies, or however I want to do it.
All right, so let's talk about some Americans right there. All right, so we're going to talk about some American weapons right now. And they're going to be a lot of very similar, but with slight variations. So the first one we're going to talk about is let's talk about the M1 Garand. That's a standard infantry rifle. It's a semi-automatic rifle. You get 2 shots, and at ranges over here, at ranges of under 20 centimeters, you're at plus 2d6. 40 centimeters, you're at plus 1d6. Long range, which is 60 centimeters, plus 1d6. And extreme range, you can still fire, but you're just doing the normal 3d6 for firing, but you do get 2 shots.
Exactly.
So that's really nice. Another weapon is the Thompson here. My sergeant is running with a Thompson. It's very similar to the MP40. Max range on the Thompson is the 40 centimeters, and you get 3 shots, so it's identical to the MP40.
Yep.
You can also take, here's my corporal. He has the M1 carbine. And the M1 carbine is kind of an intermediary between the M1 Garand and I almost said MP40, the Thompson submachine gun. And it gets 2 shots, and it can't go quite out the same range as the normal M1. It's at 80 centimeters, it's not effective, so it can only go out to 60 centimeters. But it's still a pretty decent weapon. Another option that I took for my team was the mortar. This is my mortar over here, 60mm light mortar. Now mortars are what are called indirect fire weapons. So it shoots and it lobs essentially its shell up and over the battlefield, which is really nice, and it's a blast template. So its minimum range is 60 centimeters. It can't fire at anything beyond or closer than 60 centimeters. So to give you an idea of what his minimum range would be, so I couldn't hit these guys. They're too close.
Exactly.
But I could hit these guys back here.
Right.
And it's a 10 centimeter blast. So if we were to put, let's say I was targeting this guy, and I got a hit, 10 centimeters, 10 centimeters from there, all the way around. So essentially that blast would encompass all of these guys.
Exactly.
Which is really brutal.
Now, what's really interesting is the cover from that weapon. if the first roll to hit hits, what happens?
It's devastating. Essentially, the blast would go into this guy as the target if I rolled to hit him, and then the blast would radiate out. Now, for example, if this guy was here, technically he is within the 10 centimeters.
Correct.
But there's cover in between him and the point of the blast. So he would get a cover save. These guys here, not so lucky.
So it's just straight up what you roll versus nothing.
Yes.
So if you roll good, then they're all dead.
You could literally wipe out 5 guys in one hit.
Which is what happened in our first game.
Yes, and it was very fun, for me at least. But this guy would get a save. He may actually survive. So yeah, those are kind of the main weapons that we have right now. My team does have machine guns. His team does have mortars. Oh, and one guy I forgot. This guy over here, my little sniper dude. He has the Springfield rifle. He only gets 1 shot, but he has a plus 1d6 up to all ranges.
Right.
Which is really nice. Plus he has certain characteristics that help him shoot better as well as a sniper.
Yep.
Okay, we are going to show you how to do melee. And melee combat's actually really fun. So at the beginning of your turn, you're going to declare an assault. You're going to move and assault the opponent.
Right.
So right now we're going to roll for our priorities. And essentially we have 6 guys here, 3 on my side, 3 on his side, and they're all assaulting right now. So it's going to be this big fur ball going on.
Yep.
So we're just going to roll to see who's actually going to be doing this first, and then we'll show you how to do the melee stuff.
Yep. So go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. So that's going to be for that guy, and I'm going to add 4 to that. His
well, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's actually roll for priority for the turn to see if there's any ties, who's actually going to get priority.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, so in my case,
you're going to get the priority. Yours is going to be higher than mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need to use my re-roll that my veterans allow me, so I've got priority. So then, for the first guy,
for his tactical value, 5 for his tactical value, and 4 for his. So I'm at 11, 10, and 13.
All right. And mine.
For shits and giggles.
All right. So in my case, Corporal here has 13. Then we've got 9 here on a regular guy, and then we have 12 over here on the other regular guy.
Okay, so I have 10, 11, and 12. So
my
your
13 is going to go first.
All right, so he's going to move 15 centimeters, and he's going to assault this guy.
Rick, could you have killed him?
Yeah. All right, so they are in melee combat right now. So what happens in the melee combat is each player rolls 3d6.
Good.
Now the attacking player gets an extra d6 for his roll, and then we both add our tactical value to the roll.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. And so I did really bad. I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is my total.
Okay, I'm running because I have a tactical value of 5, so I've got 10, 15, 18 total.
All right. So he won the melee combat. So his 18 beat my 12. Now we check the damage chart, like when we're doing for shooting.
So let's come over here.
But we're not minusing my roll from his. It's just straight up his roll.
Okay.
So he rolled an 18. So if the total is 16 or more, then the target model is killed. So effectively, he won the combat and killed my guy.
Just straight up.
Yep.
However, we both have some special rules here that we need to double check real quick before we just call it that. That's a normal combat. So let's look at our special rules. We
For the next combat.
Right, for the next combat though. Okay?
Next priority is, that was your highest was 13,
right.
So the next one is 12.
Okay, so in this case, we both have a 12. I have a 12.
And I have a 12.
And he has a 12. However, I had priority, so mine actually takes place first.
Yes.
So we're going to pull these dice out, and we're going to run him up. We've already pre-measured that all of these were here. Make it easier for us. So now we're doing our assault. So we've got 3.
So you get to it, you're assaulting again.
So
you get to roll 4d6. I'm rolling 3d6.
Okay. In this case, he is not my corporal, so he's only got a tactical value of 4. So we've got 8, 10, 15. However, as we just said, I am trained with bayonets is the rule, so I get to re-roll 1d6.
All right, now my guy, his tactical value is 4, so he got 6, as 4, so he got 10, so he got 16. my guy is also trained with bayonet, so I can reroll one of my dice.
Okay.
So I'm going to reroll my 1, and I got a 6.
Okay, I got a 4 again. So
my total now is up to 19.
and mine is 17.
So my guy wins the combat.
And kills me.
Sorry.
Bye, Brigham! Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
So my guy wins the combat. And now we know from the damage table that anything higher than a 16 is a kill. So his guy is dead.
So I charged in and promptly paid for it.
Yeah, he failed.
So melee is not this big, huge, nasty, scary thing, but it is very scary in World War II because you got a bayonet and you're dead. You're out for the count.
Yeah, not
So,
fun.
all right, so let's do our last one here.
Next one, my guy had a 10, your guy had a 9.
Yep,
So
so
my
you're
guy
gonna go
gets
first?
to make the charge, so he's going to move up into melee. So now I get to roll 4d6.
And I'm only
this
rolling.
guy is my sergeant. So he's going to be rolling, his tactical value is 5. So I
Right.
get to add that to my number here.
So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll my 1.
And I'm going to go ahead and re-roll my 2.
So I got a grand total of 14, and he's laughing at me. So I think I just got plastered.
Really good.
Wow.
I've got 12 plus 15, so I'm looking at 27.
I think you killed me twice over.
Yeah, I pretty much did. Sorry,
So,
James.
thank you.
Yeah, I won the combat, and it's obviously higher than a 16, so his guy is dead. So, end result, I ended up with 2 guys out of 3. He ended up with 1 out of 3. So I think I fared off a little bit better in that turn.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, that's
melee.
So we have one more thing we're going to show you, and then we should be good. Real fast.
Okay,
And you're
I'm sneaking a shot.
Hi. So we're going to be doing the last segment, which is morale. I don't know if anybody noticed.
Hang on, how do I switch? There we go. Now I can see myself. That's kind of scary. Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. You have to look at this. Ooh.
All right. Enough of that.
I know, right? But no, see, morale takes place a couple of different times. It can really affect the outcome of the game. We've done our shooting, we've done our melee, things have died. Every squad has what's called a break point. In that break point, that's how many models have to die before morale check comes into play. And when you do a morale check, what happens, Brett?
All right, so basically right here, at the beginning of the list, it'll talk about a break point. Okay? His break point is 5. And so over the course of our battle here, he has lost 5 guys. So when you immediately lose the 5th guy, you have to start taking morale. Every guy in your group has to take a morale test. And a morale test is pretty simple. Basically, it's 2d6. Everybody rolls 2d6. If they roll higher than 11, they get to keep fighting. If they roll lower than 11, they have to start retreating to their edge, and they're out of the game. And so this essentially could make or break a game. James and I played a game recently where I hit my break point, and all but one of my guys retreated, and it was very disappointing.
It is interesting to note, before you keep going on here real quick, just to interrupt for a second, the break point can actually happen twice in a game. If you have enough models to reach your break point first, and all of your models pass their morale test, they're going to keep on fighting. If enough models die again for you to reach your break point...
So another 5 models in this example.
Yeah, another 5 models in this example, then it's an automatic retreat.
Yes. However, there are a few exceptions to that. And I should point out that you always add your tactical value to your 2d6. I forgot to mention that. But your leader type, your sergeant, he can re-roll one of his 1d6 in his morale test. And if there's any models within 20 centimeters of the leader, they also can re-roll one of their d6s for that morale test. So you have a couple of modifiers there. Yeah, basically if they fail, they're retreating, they're gone, they're out of the game.
Yep.
And they can hurt your morale as well. They all retreat. Believe me, I know. Anyways, so that's the first segment of Operation Squad. Hopefully next week we'll actually have a full game played and recorded for you guys to watch, so you can see how the game plays back and forth. And again, if there's anything we got wrong, because we're still learning these rules, please let us know in the comments. Please correct us. Be gentle. We are learning. But we want to know the correct way to play the game. And we hope you've enjoyed this. The game is really fun. It's really fast-paced, back and forth.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a blast, and it makes you think about tactics. So, anyways, we'll see you next week, hopefully.